Is considering making it easier for people to get rid of unwanted guns. It's happening at a time when there are more proposals on the tables to strengthen gun ownership laws, even though California has some of the strictest gun laws in the country. Our Laura Toms got reaction from a Peninsula gun store owner.
California is known for its sweeping gun laws. No one knows that more than John Parkin. He owns and operates Coyote Point Armory in Burlingame.
Tacking on these little laws every time they move along, it makes it really tough for people that want to exercise their Second Amendment right, the ability to know what's legal and what's not legal.
When you walk into his store, the laws couldn't be more clear.
I don't know why the state doesn't trust the people of California. I think it's about control.
Coyote Point Armory.
He's the fifth generation of his family to live in the Peninsula and says the ongoing push to announce gun control legislation actually helps his business.
The more gun laws that they push, the more people come into the store and buy guns because they too don't trust the government and think that they better hurry up and get a gun or they're not going to be able to buy a gun in the future.
In the wake of a string of mass shootings in California, lawmakers have raced to propose legislation that further restricts gun ownership, on top of the more than 100 gun laws that already exist in the state.
I benefit financially from the gun control laws. I would rather not benefit in that way. I would rather benefit with the politicians leaving the stuff alone and regulating what needs to be regulated, which is what people do to other people.
Governor Gavin Newsom has backed legislation that would expand places where concealed carry is prohibited to include private locations and businesses that are open to the public, and raise the minimum age to obtain a concealed carry permit to 21.
We're not taking someone's Second Amendment away. We're ensuring that the Second Amendment is properly applicable to people who warrant getting a concealed carry permit.
State lawmakers are also seeking to require gun owners to obtain liability insurance after San Jose moved to enact the policy this year. But Parkin says more restrictions and guidelines aren't going to stop violence and mass shootings. He argues that's an issue with illegal gun ownership and mental illness.
I wish the state really would address not so much the gun, but the individual reasons why people use a gun, because there are different categories and different reasons.
For Parkins, he says he doesn't want to see more legislation on gun ownership, which he says is protected under the Second Amendment. But he will continue to be an expert on the new laws and policies as they keep coming and fight back on any infringement of his rights.
Health officials